Okay, so hi everyone, thank you very much for watching or listening today. Liam Hartree here with another episode of Presenting Champions for the Simply Inspired channel. Today, joined by a very special guest, Nina Hughes, who has many accolades to her name in professional boxing, including being Commonwealth Champion, WBO International Champion, former Team GB squad member, multiple-time national champion as an amateur, but perhaps most exciting of all, she is going for a world title fight on the 26th of November. At the time of this interview, it's the 4th of November, so it's only about 22 days away, and she's in touching distance of her dream for the WBA bantamweight female title. So today we're going to be talking about her journey from pretty much from the beginning in the amateur and Team GB squad all the way to being on the cusp of greatness. So hopefully I've done that justice. Oh, and she's undefeated as well. So just to get that in there. Thank you, Champ, for coming on the show today. It's great to have you with me. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. So let's get into it. I think starting with obviously the world title, and then we can look back from there. I mean, as I mentioned, it's only sort of like 20 odd days, 22 days, or whatever it is, at the time of this interview away. How are you feeling on the build up to such a massive opportunity and obviously a life changing opportunity?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Obviously, I only boxed a few weeks ago, so it's been like one long camp really. Just had a couple of days rest in between, and straight back into it. So it was 6 weeks altogether for this fight, and yeah, we've just been training really hard, all to get that win.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I say, just to touch on a couple of things about the world title, and then we can also look back on a few of your previous fights as well. But obviously, coming towards an opportunity like this, I mean, it's what every fighter dreams of, really, isn't it? Fighting for the world
Yeah.
title. And you've got that opportunity in, in quite a fast, sort of speedy way. But how are you feeling about it emotionally? I mean, I'm curious as to get in, like, inside your head a little bit, if that's all right, on the build up
Yeah.
to a massive opportunity like this. I mean, are you feeling sort of excited, nervous? Are you visualizing the fight? Like, what's your sort of mental process building up
Just
to an opportunity
just
like this?
really excited. I suppose in the back of my mind, I pray that nothing goes wrong and like it doesn't get cancelled for any reason, and because you never know. Like, yeah, just hoping it happens because it is a dream to come true to get a world title opportunity, especially this soon. I believe I'm ready for it, and I've just got to take the opportunity and go and get that title back.
Absolutely. And obviously, another thing to touch on, just obviously a couple of different things around the fight. Obviously, it being in Dubai as well. I
Yeah,
can't remember if you mentioned that in the intro, but that's also got to be very, very exciting as well, fighting abroad and everything. I mean, I know obviously with the amateur squad and things, it's all around, but still, I mean, that's something that a lot of British fighters dream of is obviously to fight abroad as well. So how do you feel about that aspect? You know, about it being in Dubai and everything
yeah. I
like
mean,
that?
we knew it was in Dubai, and so I was really excited about that. But then to find out we was headlining it as well was even like that was like really big news for us. And yeah, I've never been to Dubai, so I've always liked to go. Always a place I've wanted to visit. So I can't wait. Really, just going to make the most of the opportunity. It's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely. I mean, and it'll be a fun place to celebrate as well.
Yeah, definitely.
When you get that win, which I believe you will do. So fantastic. Now the only other thing before we take a look back, obviously, your training and everything for the fight. You mentioned about the camp and it being a quick turnaround and everything. I'm not sure how much you can say about the training because I don't want to give anything away here either
Yeah.
for you could pick up on. But anything you can share about just about how it's going day to day and how the camp for it is going and anything that people would find interesting like that.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed much from before, apart from we've just taken it a step up. Everything's just been pushing harder, fitness wise, harder, strength and conditioning. And obviously, this time we've been getting the right sparring partners that we believe are right for Jamie Mitchell. and just working on tactics to beat her. So that's what we've been working on in the gym. That's the only difference to any other camp, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, it's an amazing opportunity, and obviously, I say good luck for it. I appreciate you obviously fitting this in as well on the build up to something as important as that. Obviously, it wouldn't be a complete interview without taking a look back at a few key fights and a few of your achievements so far that have obviously led to this point of being, ready for greatness, really, ready
Yeah.
to take the world. So. Going right back, going the other way now, going back in time quite a bit to when you first started boxing, which I think was pretty much for fitness and it was pretty much for that in the
Yeah.
beginning, and then obviously it progressed from there. At that time, did you believe that you would basically come as far as where you are now, type of thing, or
No,
was it?
never. I mean, even like the whole GB thing, that came as a pretty much surprise. And then I kind of like retired after GB for a few years, had children, then came back, but I was just doing it for a bit of fun and a hobby when I came back. And yeah, I never even thought about turning pro because I mean, it wasn't that big as female. I mean, I looked into it when I come off GB, I looked into turning pro because that's the natural progression. But for females, there's just no opportunities in the UK. It was like you had to go to America or you had to go to Germany. So at that point, didn't even think about it. And then, yeah, I was literally in lockdown about to retire because the box, everything had stopped. And then I was watching everyone on the telly, all the girls, and it started to take off female professional boxing. And I just thought, I've got to give it a go, otherwise I regret it. So yeah, in lockdown, I joined. Well, amateur gyms are shut. I joined a professional gym, and yeah, here we are now.
Now then, the rest is history, as they say. Amazing. Well, yeah, I mean, you're coming in at the right time because there's so much. Obviously, it's so much bigger now. Women's boxing. Obviously, we've had recently with Clarissa Shields, and we've had Madison Square Garden and all that, and Katie Taylor. And there's so much going
Yeah,
on. And I've been around the game myself, and I've seen that change in the mentality where even like the hardcore, boxing trainers or boxing fans or people who've always been around the game, they're really starting to sort of open up and get more interested in women's boxing, if you like. So it's definitely the right time to be in the game. Out of obviously your achievements so far, multiple national titles, the titles you won as a pro as well. What are you like the most proud of so far? I mean, I know when you get the world title, that'll be the
yeah.
absolute. But until this point, what are your
um,
proudest moments?
I suppose
You know,
being on the GB squad when I was selected for that was a massive achievement. I mean, I'd only been boxing 18 months at the time, so I was a relative novice. I think I'd only had about 15 amateur fights at the time. Um, so being selected over a lot more experienced people, that was a massive achievement for me. And getting to train full time on a GB squad for a couple of years was brilliant and such a great experience. So that, and then I suppose winning the titles, I did win the Commonwealth title and the WBO International on my third fight. That was a massive achievement for me as well. But this world title will top it off.
it will. It absolutely will. So moving into the last couple of things, obviously with this, what was the other question? Toughest fights. People always want to hear about toughest fights. It's something that comes up in every interview of mine. It's sort of a very fan favorite question, and it's more for the fans than for other fighters. But I get a lot of both. I get a lot of other fighters watching my stuff and fans. But for the fans out there in particular, I mean, toughest fights, amateur, pro. I don't mind, which side we look at with this. Which ones stand out with you with that side of
um, I remember, I think it was in Germany, boxing for England in a tournament, and in the final, I boxed a Russian, and that was a tough fight. Got to come away with the win, but it was a very close 50-50 fight. I think I won, just won. Yeah, I remember that being a really tough one. I remember boxing a Russian in Russia as well. Well, I think we went to Russia for a training camp with GB. We boxed 3 times in 3 days. I just remember how strong they was for the first time. I think it was the first time we'd boxed for GB, so it was all new to me. And yeah, I remember that being really tough as well.
Yeah. And obviously, you mentioned Russia there, and obviously, we've got Dubai coming up, and we've got these different places. Do you have a favorite place that boxing has taken you? And the reason I ask this is I think it's inspiring for maybe people who are still amateur or people who are sort of up and coming, that they can see the rewards. Obviously, the rewards of titles and things like that, but
Yeah.
people. some amazing places with boxing that you wouldn't go otherwise. Are there any like countries that stand out where boxing's taken you that are special to you type of thing?
Um, They took us to China twice with GB, and that was a really good experience because we got to sightsee as well. We got to see a bit of the country as well as train, and their hospitality was amazing. Like they took us out to all these nice restaurants and treated us really well, so that was good. Um, Most of the other countries that we went to were in Europe that I went to anyway when I was there. So I'd say that was probably one of the best experiences.
Yeah, amazing. And moving into, like I say, just the last couple of things. Obviously, your advice for up and coming athletes. Now, I know this is probably a bit of a big question, but at the same time, you've gone from boxing for fitness to storming through Team GB and all the national titles and everything. Commonwealth, WBO, all the stuff I mentioned at the beginning, on the cusp of greatness. So I think you're in quite a good position to maybe give one or two bits of advice. And I know that there's some great coaches out there, and there's some great people that people can ask. But you've accomplished a lot so far. So if you had to say to somebody who's like up and coming in the game, and they want to achieve something big, they want to get to like say a world title level or whatever level they're aiming for, what would you say to those people? I know this is a big one, sorry, but I just think you're in a great
Yeah,
position.
just follow your dream. I mean, no what matter what obstacles get in the way. I've had plenty of obstacles since I've turned pro. Like my age has been the massive thing against me, which is why it's been so hard. But I just kept going, and I believed that I could beat the top girls, and I just kept trying until I got the opportunity, and it's come.
Yeah. Well, it's good advice. I mean, it's one of those things where I like that with you because you've achieved a lot, but it's also because of what you mentioned at the beginning, where there's obviously it's not been an easy path. As you've sort of gone against the grain a bit, and now women's boxing's opening up. But
Yeah,
just in a good position to share that. Pretty much the last thing is obviously thank yous and everything. I mean, when I do these interviews, I always give a shout out for people to thank sponsors, fans, trainers, coaches, I don't know, family, whoever it is. It's different for different people. But in other words, the other people who make it possible for you to do what you do. Obviously, you have to have the dedication and everything, but there's a lot of other people who chip in. So,
yeah.
is there anyone out there that you'd like to give a shout out to, a thank you to, and things like that?
Yeah, just thank you to my main coach, Kevin Lilly, who stuck by me from the start, and all my sponsors that have helps like fund all the extra bits and pieces that I need doing. So we've got, let me try and remember them all. Premier Roofing, Hunt Site Services, NS Plastering. I should look.
Sorry, I put it up now. I'm sorry. I was just
I know.
mentioning.
Michael Clark Designs. I hope I haven't left it. TM Training and Therapy. I think that's it. I hope I haven't left it. Oh, sorry. Don Peas, milkshakes, and one more is the Vault.
There you
So
go.
thank you to them.
Brilliant. Well, sorry for putting you on the spot with that, but it's just at the end of the day, because your moment of glory is fast approaching, I thought it's a great time to give them a shout out as well, because obviously
Yeah,
they're all.
they've all helped me out a lot, so I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, like I said at the beginning, I'll say once again, good luck for the fight. I hope you get the win, and obviously when you get the win, we can do another one of these maybe, and just talk about how it feels to actually be world champion and sort of be on cloud nine and everything like that. But in the meantime, I hope your preparations go very very well, and like I said before, thank you for squeezing this in. With everything you've got going on the build up to a world title fight. I mean, I really do appreciate that.
No, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.